Would you give your hard-earned money to a billionaire? Yeah, me either.
We have created the People's Fund of Maui that will put money directly in the hands of the people who need it right now.
She's asking to help rebuild Maui. But this is a woman worth billions of dollars, and she's asking us to pitch in? Don't get me wrong, we've all got a responsibility to help the people of Maui, but let's be real here. If Oprah actually cared about the wildfires, she'd have already gotten the job done. Sure, it'll take millions of dollars, but with her net worth, I doubt she'd even notice the difference in her bank account. And get this, Oprah bought 800 acres of land in Maui back in March. She blew $6.6 million on the property, and it's kind of weird how her land wasn't even touched by the fire, right? I'm not trying to start something here. I'm just saying Oprah's not an angel. She's got tons of dark secrets, so I'm gonna tell you just 10 off the top of my head and y'all can decide for yourself. Okay, right off the bat, we need to talk about this whole Maui fund. So Oprah and The Rock said they put $10 million into the fund, but where exactly is all that money going? Remember, millions of their fans are donating too, so this stuff matters. From what I've read, the fund's being managed by the Entertainment Industry Foundation, and the company's top dogs are making an awful lot of money. Like the president of EIF earns almost $500,000 a year. The CEO takes home about $358K, and there are dozens of other executives earning over six figures. I'm getting this data from ProPublica, by the way, so trust me when I say it's legit. What's the point of a charity fund if all that money just lines the pockets of corporate bigwigs? Can we get some transparency here? I'm not trying to pay for someone's private jet anyway. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Oprah's always tried to paint herself as some noble savior, but I have a good reason for doubting her, like the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for Girls. It's probably her biggest claim to fame, at least as a philanthropist, but I'd die before sending any of my girls there. Seriously, folks, this is not a safe place for children. The girls at the school barely get to see their parents, and they only get to use their phones on weekends. Is this a school or a prison? I mean, a member of the teaching staff literally got assaulted in 2007, and Oprah had to settle a lawsuit from the headmistress out of court. There have been at least 2 other instances of sexual assault between 2018 and 2020, and there's no telling what else Oprah's managed to hide. After all, there's an entire secret relationship she might be keeping from the world. You know what I'm saying. Gayle King might be more than a friend, and Oprah's trying to keep a lid on it. Oprah and Gayle have been buddies for decades, and most folk think they're like sisters. The thing is, they seem a little too close, and people are starting to pick up on it. Like, for starters, Oprah's pretty controlling, because Gayle apparently can't wear an outfit if Lady O doesn't approve. Also, Oprah's ex-stepmom's been spilling some tea recently. Like this one time, Oprah took her whole family on a Mediterranean cruise, and she basically spent the whole trip with 2 people. Her husband, Stedman Graham, and Gayle. Now, is there some weird throuple dynamic she's got going on? I'm not judging. I just think it's funny how she brought innocent people on her show, made fun of them on national television for not being perfect, and then does whatever she wants behind the scenes. Which brings me to my next item that made me see Oprah for who she truly is. That horrible interview with Cindy Crawford. Okay, so a lot of y'all probably don't even know who Cindy Crawford is. So let me fill you in real quick. Basically, if you picked up a magazine in the 80s and 90s, you were definitely gonna see her face, because she was the world's biggest supermodel back then. Now, in 1986, Oprah called her over for an interview, and it was disgusting. Like, she actually told her to stand up and show off her body to the audience. Remember, Cindy was just 20 at the time, and all she could do was smile awkwardly and wait for it to be over. Cindy said that she felt like chattel during the interview, and I totally get where she's coming from. You see, Oprah doesn't really care who she hurts, as long as she gets her bag. Oh, and speaking of getting paid, you won't believe how often she asks people to work for free. Like, remember that massive arena tour she did in 2014? It was called Live the Life You Want Weekend, with tickets selling for $100 to $1,000 a pop. But get this, Oprah tried to hire a bunch of people to perform for exposure. This isn't just some rumor either. There's this famous hula hoop performer named Revolva, and she openly said that a producer approached her and told her that working for Oprah was enough of a payment. Look, I make content for a living, and nothing makes me angrier than getting offered exposure for all my hard work. It's almost like Oprah doesn't think anyone else is worth her money. But then again, she's given a massive platform to wackos like Dr. Phil. Okay, this isn't exactly a secret, but not everyone knows how toxic this man is. Watch any episode of his show with black guests and you'll see he's a bigot through and through. He's pretty smart about it, of course, because he uses selective edits and cuts to make people with addictions, people of color, and just anyone that's not straight and white seem like they're crazy. And you know what? Because of Oprah, the self-dubbed savior of the oppressed, this straight-up bigot was able to make millions off of vulnerable people. Oh, and he's not even a real medical doctor either, by the way. But of course, there's nothing Oprah loves more than a quack. She's promoted dangerous pseudoscience with Dr. Oz. To be fair, at least Oz is a licensed surgeon, but that just makes it more ridiculous that he's into all that faith-healing garbage. The guy thinks you can meditate cancer away, for Pete's sake. And every time he spilled his nonsense, Oprah just sat there nodding serenely as if everything he said made perfect sense. Like, does she really not know how much harm she's doing here? Does she really believe this stuff? Or is she just doing it for the views? I mean, her show's given a platform to a whole circus of clowns, and Oz is just one of them. Don't forget Deepak Chopra, her bogus new age guru. Just like Oz, Chopra's super into the whole new wave faith healing thing, but he also takes it to a whole other level. Like, he has this idea called quantum healing, and I gotta ask, what does that even mean? You can't just string fancy words together and call it science. But try telling that to Oprah, because she loves the guy. She handed him his career on a silver platter, and I can't even imagine the damage he's done. Getting a seal of approval from Lady O gives you massive influence, and Chopra's used that to turn millions away from real scientific medicine. But here's the kicker. He's probably one of the least dangerous people she's platformed. One of her most famous guests, John of God, is a serial assaulter. We're getting into some dark territory, folks. John of God is an evil man. No two ways about it, but he started out as a spiritual healer, and we all know how much Oprah loves that crap. In December 2018, 200 survivors revealed he'd assaulted them, and I doubt he'd have had access to so many vulnerable people if Oprah hadn't made him famous. Then again, something tells me Oprah has a thing for dangerous, violent men, or at the very least, she doesn't mind being around them, because one of her oldest friends turned out to be the biggest predator in Hollywood. Yep, that's right. She was friends with Harvey Weinstein throughout his reign of terror. This man was the bane of every actress in Hollywood for 30 years. And there are pictures of Oprah hugging and kissing him at award shows. Like, they knew each other for at least 2 of those 3 decades. And are you telling me Oprah had no idea what was going on? I have a hard time believing she's that naive. You don't build a multi-billion-dollar empire by being stupid. And a couple celebrities like Rose McGowan and Seal have basically said she knew what Harvey was up to. Oprah talks a big game about empowering women, but she never puts her money where her mouth is. Look, nobody's perfect, and I'm not saying Oprah's pure evil, but you can't just brush stuff like this under the rug. If you ask me, she's done some real harm, and forget accountability, she never even talks about any of this stuff.
So what do you guys think about Oprah's dark secrets? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to be in the know about what the rich are trying to hide, make sure to hit the subscribe.